AREC 272 Final Project, Vertical Farming by Shelby and Mackenzie. Vertical farming is the urban farming of fruits, vegetables, and grains inside a building in a city or urban center. Now, vertical farming can take various shapes. One of these is the shape of a skyscraper, with each floor or level designed to grow a specific crop with the use of hydroponics. Hydroponics is a process where the plants are placed in substances other than soil. These may be coconut fiber, gravel, and sand. However, these substances do not supply any nutrition to the plants. So in order for the plants to get their nutrition, a nutrient solution is made of water and fertilizer. This solution can be easily controlled and adjusted, and the watering and feeding cycles are controlled by timers. In the following chart, you will see the comparisons of various factors for vertical farming, greenhouses, and field farming. One of the things you should note is that in vertical farming, the land can be used 365 days a year, whereas in field farming, it can only be used 275 days a year. Also, if you look at the amount of harvest per year, for vertical farming, there's 8 to 12 for lettuce, in greenhouse, 6 to 7, and field farming, there's usually 2. So total production of vertical farming is greatly larger than greenhouse and field farming. We need vertical farming because the world population is predicted to be over 9 billion by 2050, with a huge amount of these people living in cities where they are not able to easily feed themselves. We are going to need to feed about 2.4 billion more people than we are feeding today. Lately, researchers are concerned about the condition of soil and the huge impact that climate change has on conventional farmers. Vertical farming allows food to be grown locally and sustainably while using 5% of the water and 14% of the greenhouse gas emissions that conventional farming uses. Vertical farms have a controlled climate, which allows plants to grow faster and be harvested all year. Stacking the plants on top of each other allows vertical farming to produce higher yields per unit of land than traditional farming does. As cities expand to accommodate the growing population, farmland will decrease, which causes more stress on farmers to provide the food needed to feed all of these people. More reasons about why vertical farming is beneficial is because it can use human and agriculture waste to produce energy through methane generation. It can turn sewage into a new strategy for conservation of drinking water, and food can be produced all year round without losing yield due to climate change or pests. One vertical farm that takes the form of 30 stories on one city block, which is about 3 million square feet, can provide enough nutrition to comfortably feed 10,000 people if they each are getting 2,000 calories per day. There are some cons to vertical farming, however. Energy costs are high because the plants need light for at least 12 to 16 hours every day, and heating needs to be provided in the winter months. There is higher cost to purchase urban land than there is to purchase farmland. There's a limited variety of fruits and vegetables that can be grown, and consumers are concerned and don't have enough knowledge about the production methods of vertical farms. Consumer attitudes towards vertical farming. Although many consumers agreed that year-round crop production is the goal, they wanted to achieve this through a method that doesn't use pesticides. So consumers want the farmer to reach maximum production per acre and have the crops grow at a very quick rate. Participants in a study done by Coyle and Ellison said they would be open to implementing vertical farming in cities if it could be used to solve environmental problems, if it would reduce the price of products grown that they were to purchase, and if it would improve living for generations in the future. Lots of people did not believe that vertical farming would be harmful to human health, but they did have concerns about how natural the process is and if it would actually produce healthier products. Product familiarity. In terms of lettuce production, vertical farming can produce 5 million heads of lettuce per acre per year, whereas field farming only produces 50,000 heads of lettuce per acre per year. Even though the production levels are higher per acre with vertical farming, the average consumer is found to be less likely to purchase lettuce produced by this method. This is because they are unfamiliar with the product. The more familiar a consumer is with the product, the more likely they are to buy it because they already know the quality of it and are certain about what they are buying. This is the issue with vertical farming being new. Consumers aren't sure of the quality of the product they will be getting, so they lean towards buying produce that has been grown through a way that they are more used to or know more about. Willingness to pay. The study done by Coyle and Ellison shows the difference in willingness to pay by the participants of a 5-ounce box of lettuce produced in the different ways. As you can see, they were willing to pay the least amount for vertically farmed lettuce. The participants said that they based their willingness to pay on what they expected the production cost of lettuce to be. Their expectation was that vertically farmed lettuce would be cheaper, and this is based off the fact that production levels are higher for this type of production. However, they were not given any production costs, so they were not actually sure what the costs were. However, the consumers basing their willingness to pay on what they assume production costs were is likely because they considered factors other than their own costs and benefits, which willingness to pay is usually based off of. Place for vertical farming in the market. In the study, there were two groups: the control group that was given minimal information about vertical farming, and the treatment group that was given a greater amount of information. The control group believed that the produce grown by vertical farming would be sold only in specialty food stores and at high-end grocery retailers, whereas the treatment group thought that the produce grown would be sold in larger superstores and supercenters such as Walmart. This shows that people who did not have much information about vertical farming thought that the produce grown this way was a premium product. With vertical farming, there is an increase in the supply of produce. This increase causes the supply curve to shift to the right from S1 to S2, so the quantity will increase from Q1 to Q2 as the price goes down and more people are able to purchase the produce. Implications and influence on agriculture. One issue with vertical farming is a lack of information that people have. People are not informed and do not have a complete understanding of what vertical farming is all about, so the public tends to be concerned about the safety of the products produced this way and whether or not they can be classified as natural. For vertical farming to expand in the future, the public needs to know more about it. Research shows that there is an opportunity to implement vertical farming in areas and for this type of production to expand. However, it is going to take some time to bridge the information gap that is currently present. Another issue is the transition period that is needed to get the vertical farms up and running. It takes time to implement the technology and get the new production set up. This transition period involves teaching people how to manage this new type of agriculture, since it is not managed how typical farms are usually run. There also may need to be an introduction and some instruction to people operating these vertical farms, and also to the public so they are aware of how the farms actually run. An influence that vertical farming has on the agriculture industry is that it increases production. By introducing and implementing vertical agriculture into more areas, specifically urban areas, the production levels of fresh produce will rise, which will also decrease production costs since you are able to grow more in a smaller area of land. A related influence is the solution to production issues that we are facing today. Recently, there have been concerns about the slowing yield growth of many crops, which is a big issue considering the world population is continuing to grow. Vertical agriculture fits well as a solution to produce more food, which is essential as there are always more mouths to feed. This allows the agriculture industry to grow in a way that it couldn't through conventional agriculture. Expanding produce farms upwards instead of outwards removes space limitations that exist in many areas. Another influence this growing method has is on urban food deserts. In some highly populated and crowded urban areas, food deserts are present. This is where there are no grocery stores around where fresh produce can be bought, and any produce that is available is very highly priced. Vertical farming can help improve this as it allows fresh produce to be grown in more areas right in the city. This also lowers transportation costs and makes it easier for families to access the fresh produce. Vertical agriculture also expands the market supply. Although consumers might be hesitant to purchase vertically farmed produce right away, once they have the information and understanding of it, they are likely to turn to it due to it being cheaper and more accessible. However, this does not mean that vertical farming will take away from produce that is grown in fields or in greenhouses. Our world is facing a shortage of foods, especially fresh foods in urban areas. So vertical farming could help be a part of the solution without damaging the market for fresh foods produced in the more conventional ways. Vertical farming would simply increase the supply of products grown, making fresh produce cheaper and easier for people of lower socioeconomic status to access.